Show me the money. I need to feel you, Jerry. Show me the money. Jerry, you better yell. Show me the money. Show me the money.
All right, so we're back with a little playoff preview. Back with Mike. We're going to run through Week 19 games, wild card weekend. Give you a little Super Bowl MVP action, maybe most passing yards with some playoff props. We're excited. First weekend of the playoffs, we have a big matchup Friday night. So let's start off with Saturday. We have the Seahawks, who kind of limped into the playoffs, lost 7 of their last 8 against the spread going into the wild card weekend. They are plus 9.5, traveling to San Francisco, maybe the most dominant defense in the NFL. I'll let you go first. What do you like in this game? Are you going to touch it?
Yeah, 100%. I have to throw in a few money line parlays with the Niners in there. I don't think the Seahawks have a chance against the Niners defense, against their offense with Brock Purdy too. 100% any touchdown parlays that you're throwing out there, make sure to throw George Kittle in there. I love George Kittle in this matchup, and I love George Kittle, period. He's been on fire since Brock Purdy came onto the scene, scoring 2 touchdowns a game with Brock Purdy.
7 touchdowns in the last 4 games.
Exactly. And a couple of them were 2 touchdowns each. So while he's hot, got to take him in there. Minus 9.5, I'm not mad at either. It's not 2 touchdowns, 2 scores, but I think that they have the potential to do it. The only thing that scares me about that is Geno Smith toward the end of the game, going for his, tapping into his comeback player of the year potential and getting this game closer than it should be when the Niners take their feet off the gas. But at the end of the day, I still like the Niners to cover in this. But either way, if you're going to throw money line in there, just take the Niners 100%.
Yeah, I have the Niners in a few money line parlays. I kind of like 9.5. I don't know if I'm going to take it. I do like Kittle. So Kittle, 3 out of the past 4 games, he has 2 touchdowns. Him 2 touchdowns is 9-1, which isn't crazy. 1 touchdown plus 155. But 9-1, very juicy. I like the Niners to make the fucking Super Bowl. So of course I do like them to beat Seattle. I do think you could take them in money line parlays with confidence. I just don't see it with Geno. He was good early in the year, but I just think against this level of defense, it's going to just be way too hard of a mountain to climb. The achievement for Seattle is the fact that they made the playoffs. I actually took them to have the least amount of points in the NFL this year because I thought Drew Lock was going to play quarterback. That didn't happen. But yeah, San Francisco.
I think wins or points?
Least amount of points, total points. Basically, I was predicting they would have the worst offense in the NFL because they were awful with Russell, and we didn't know Russell Wilson sucked until this year, so it got a little delayed for me. So we'll go to the next game, which I think is probably the most exciting game on the slate, even though it's not 2 big franchises. But we got the Jaguars at home. Right now, they're all the way up to plus 2.5. The line was 1 when it first came out. So surprisingly, Mike Williams just announced today fractured his back. He broke his back just like Mike Tyson.
I broke my back.
Could be back for the Super Bowl, but an all-time just idiotic move by Staley to leave Mike Williams in that game, an injury-prone guy, and now he's hurt, and you're missing kind of your deep ball, jump ball target, who might be a top 5 50-50 guy in this league when it's 3rd and 10 and you just want to chuck it up there. So I am kind of surprised by that, but I still like the Chargers. I still think the Jaguars were mediocre most of the year. They barely beat Josh Dobbs last week of the season, and I think the Chargers right now are like minus 135. So give me Chargers, Bills money line. We'll get into Bills later, but they're facing Skylar Thompson, which is going to be a joke. So Chargers, Bills, minus 112. Shout out to 112, Peaches and Cream. I think that's the parlay that I'm going to circle as my arguably my favorite one for the weekend.
Yeah, the line being only 2.5 doesn't really scare me. I like Chargers going into this before the Mike Williams injury, and I still like them. We kind of had the idea that Mike Williams was most likely not going to play, even though the x-ray came back negative, and apparently it sounded like he was going to be okay. But the fact that Staley played him frustrated me. I was talking to group chats today about it, and that really fucking pissed me off. It made no sense as to why they did it. There was no reason for him to have his starters out there. It happened. It is what it is. It scares me for the action that we have on the Chargers to not just come out of the AFC, but to win the Super Bowl in a few fun plays. But whatever, neither here nor there. I like the Chargers in this matchup nonetheless. Jaguars had him earlier in the season. I think they could come back. That was Justin Herbert with the broken ribs. They're in a much better place now. They're on fire.
Well, Joey Bosa
If you
got hurt.
want to,
There was a lot of things in that game that I think worked
of
against
course,
the Chargers.
of course, going on my Kittle plus 155 touchdown parlay action or straight up. If you want to have some fun with it, throw Eckler in there. I love Eckler in this matchup. I also love Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen when Mike Williams
plus
is
money,
quiet
man.
or not playing. Yeah,
Plus
Keenan
money.
Allen is the plus money. Yeah, you take him with George Kittle. It's going to be fun. But nonetheless, I love the Chargers in this matchup. I love them to keep going and to hopefully go into the AFC Championship. But we'll see. I like them. I like them in this one.
All right,
For
cool.
at the very least, money line.
All right, cool. So Chargers, I think we're both on the Chargers. Then first game on Sunday is Miami, right? Miami.
Bills, Miami.
Skylar Thompson,
yep.
just disappointing, man. Tua obviously can't play, concussion. I totally get it. It makes a lot of sense. But overall, I still think Buffalo, I told you this before this came out. I like Buffalo to win by like 24 plus, maybe minus 23.5. I could see this being just a complete blowout for Buffalo. Miami just was very dependent on Tua, even though I don't really think Tua was a top 5, maybe he was a borderline top 10 guy this year when he was healthy. Just without him, and then you're adding Skylar Thompson, even with Teddy Bridgewater, even if he gets a negative rap, I think Miami would have had more of a chance. They have the speed of Tyreek Hill, they have Jalen Waddle, but for me to think that Skylar Thompson is going to go toe-to-toe with Josh Allen, I just think it's impossible. I know it's a big spread, but I wouldn't want to take Miami if my life depended on it. Like, there is no scenario where I'd want to have my hard-earned money on Skylar Thompson and company. So give me Buffalo, win big. I'd probably like Josh Allen to get in this week. I feel like in the playoffs, you see him run a little bit more. Maybe he won't need to, but I think Josh Allen comes out firing, comes out early, and Buffalo just absolutely boat races the Dolphins. Take them first quarter, minus a half. I think it's like minus 160, which isn't too bad. You could parlay it with something else. I think Buffalo's going to come out aggressive, and they're just going to absolutely blow the doors off Miami.
Dude, that's so much better than taking them on their straight up money line or their spread, which
is
crazy.
The minus 1,000 didn't feel
exactly. It's just not going to do anything for your parlays. It's a big spread, but just based off of what we saw last week with Skylar Thompson, who couldn't score against the Jets defense, which is a totally different defense, but still, Micah Hyde is playing. You got your Davies White. Like you've got the defense minus what's his Von Miller. I'm still not scared.
Micah Hyde, right? Micah Hyde is out.
I think Micah Hyde's playing. Playing. Yeah. Oh no. Oh, never mind. It looks like he may not be playing. It's still doubtful.
Yeah, that's what I figured, because I remember that was a pretty big injury, and I didn't think he'd be back. Maybe he'll try to make a run back for the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. But either way, who gives a fuck? It's Skylar Thompson.
Who gives a fuck? It's Skylar Thompson.
It's not Dan Marino. It's not Tua. It's fucking Skylar Thompson. We have nothing to worry about.
Exactly. I think the Bills can treat this as a bye week, honestly. There's really nothing to be afraid of with Skylar Thompson. They didn't look good last week. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill got yards, couldn't get into the end zone.
Tyreek Hill got banged up.
He got banged up. So, and we don't even know what to expect of him with that ankle this Sunday. So I'm not scared. I'm excited for the Bills. Of course, with props, like I like your pick of Josh Allen, but it's always unfucking predictable with this team. James Cook gets in there. Devin Singletary gets in there. Stephon Diggs will wake up. McKenzie, Gabe Davis. So just have.
I like Dawson Knox too. I feel like Knox always scores in the playoffs too for some reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Games, I could see them going after him, but I think it's that one of those games where pick the plus money guy that you like on your anytime touchdown. Even Diggs is minus 105. So really just pick who you like. Buffalo should score 3 or 4 touchdowns. So hopefully they get it to one of your guys. If you're going to take a flyer on somebody, maybe Nyheim Hines again, plus 430. Does he have another fucking kick return or punt return?
That'd be something. That'd be something.
Dude, how happy is Nyheim Hines? Got the fuck out of Indianapolis in that dumpster fire. Now he's playing at the Super Bowl. Everybody's loving it. I think he even made an all pro team, or like maybe it was like a PFF all pro team. I was like, dude, was it just because of the 2 touctouchdowns? He was only doing this for a few weeks. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Either way, like with this game, the only value you're gonna find is first half, first quarter. There's no point in taking Miami on the teaser.
You
Yeah,
gotta
you got to take
spreads.
spreads. Yeah. You could take the Bills straight up. You could take the Bills on a teaser. I wouldn't even take Miami on a teaser to get it
No,
minus
I
20
wouldn't.
and a
No,
half.
no. I'm telling you, stay the
Yeah.
fuck away from Miami. I think Buffalo wins. I like Buffalo to win big. I want to take.
Beautiful.
I think I'm going to take 34-13, something
Beautiful.
wild. Let's
And
go
then at
into
four. And then at four.
And then at 4, we have the New York Giants +3 at Minnesota. Minnesota just a historically bad DVOA team to get into the playoffs. I think they were 27th this year. Weird team, won a lot of close games. The thing I don't like, because I do like the Giants, my first instinct is take New York 100%. 92% of the cash is on the Giants.
Yeah,
Whenever I hear
everybody knows
anything that disgusts me. That tells me that the Vikings are going to win a game by a field goal, which is why I'm going to take the Giants +3.5.
Plus
I'm not going to take the money
3.5,
line.
yeah.
I'm still leaning. I think the Giants are going to win, but if you told me Giants go up early, they maintain the game with the running game, but then the Giants offense kind of plateaus because they have limited skill players. Their best receivers, Richie James, and Minnesota goes on a little run with Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. They probably have, 3 of the best 4 skill players in this game, minus Saquon Barkley. So once I look at it like that, I think you're going to need a really good game from Daniel Jones. He better use his legs, and you better slow down Justin Jefferson. Because if they get Justin Jefferson going, I think it could be a dangerous game for the Giants. But I'm with you. I'm going to ignore my gambling instinct, which is when the public is so heavy on a team, I really want to stay away. But I think after what I've seen from Minnesota this year and how good Dayball was, I'm going to take the Giants with the points +3.5, -130. Maybe parlay them with the Bills so I can cut that juice. Because like I said, I don't see a scenario where Buffalo loses. They could put me or you at quarterback. Buffalo wins this game. So, give me the Giants +3.5, but I am a little bit worried that so many people want to put money on the Giants. How do you feel about the game?
Well, this is exactly how I feel about the game. Taking +3.5, I don't even look at it as the public is going crazy on one team. I think everyone's going crazy on the fact that Giants, with their head coach and with the way they've won these games, the way they played out this season, on top of the public understanding that the Vikings honestly are not a great team. They're really not. They've edged out these wins in the shittiest ways. The point differential is disgusting, and all of their games have been absolutely close. The amount of games, I mean, what was it? What was the record for if you would have switched the
one-score games. Well, yeah, I think they only lost one score game, so I think they would have flipped to like 6-11 or some crazy shit. Yeah.
It was a crazy, disgusting number. Where in this case, if Minnesota wins, I like it to be a close game. By a field goal, most likely, just like the last game that came down to that 62-yard field goal. I do like the Giants in this one. Obviously, I'm going to take them +3.5 in parlays, but obviously, I'm also going to take them straight up money line. So both of my picks would be money line and to take them on the spread. I don't believe in the Vikings. I don't think that they're a good team. They have a star wide receiver, Hawkinson. Yeah, Hawkinson and Thielen obviously add to that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm just not high on them at all as much as I am on the Giants. That Kenny Golladay touchdown at the end of the last game was so fucking frustrating.
But my one thing when you say the Vikings aren't that dominant of a team, the Giants only have one game that they won by more than one score this entire season, 9-7-1. So that's my problem. You can sell me on the Vikings sucking, but you can't tell me the Giants are good. You know, they're an average team. They did what they had to in a very shitty NFC to get into the playoffs. That's why I'm just going to take the points in this scenario, but I was initially all in on the Giants. The more I look at it, and maybe that's a bad thing, when you just look at the two teams, kind of the skill players on both teams, the Giants don't have the offense to just embarrass the Minnesota defense like some other teams do. So I think we need a big game from Saquon once again, and I think minimum 50 yards rushing for Daniel Jones if they're going to win this game.
I hear you. They've only been embarrassed once this season, and that was by the Eagles, who are a potential Super Bowl playing team.
Yeah, big loss against the analogy. Yeah, two touchdown loss against the Seahawks, 2-score loss against the Lions. But for the most part, they were competitive in most games. Scrappy team. But same with Minnesota.
I'll scrap the Seahawks loss because of Richie James and the 2 fumbles. I'll let that one slide.
Then you need to scratch your Panthers win because you only won because of fumbles.
But still, that's what I'm saying. They keep these games close. They keep
like Minnesota. That's why +3.5, and we're riding tight at half. No brainer.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Without a
is
doubt. Without
tied
a
at
doubt.
half. Circle that shit because that's the best tied at half that we have on the slate. So
For this weekend.
Sunday night, we have no Lamar Jackson, which is honestly so sad. Just this season, he can't play in the second half of the year. Him and Kyler Murray just like to do that, which is why I'm scared of the small running quarterback because they tend to be more fragile. So we got Cincinnati. Now it's all the way up to, I think, 8.5 or 9 in some books at home against Baltimore. And I don't know. It feels like Baltimore should blow them out. The Ravens offense has looked disgusting with Tyler Huntley. The thing is, the Ravens defense
Baltimore
has
should
looked
blow
strong.
them out, or Cincinnati should blow them out?
Sorry, Cincinnati should blow them out. I think with Tyler Huntley at quarterback, he just hasn't looked great. They have no receivers. Lamar Jackson covered up a lot of their shit. And I think when you don't have Lamar in the picture, it's just too hard for that offense to do things. I think unless Joe Burrow somehow loses this game or the Ravens win it defensively, maybe some lucky turnover, strip sack, pick six, if nothing like that happens, there's no shot the Ravens can win this game. It would take a Herculean defensive performance and an elite rushing game, maybe a deep touchdown that they pull out of their ass with Deshaun Jackson. I don't see it. I think Cincinnati's going to win this game by 10 points. I think they cover the spread. I won't touch the spread, but I think Cincinnati's a great team to tease or throw money. Like if you want to go Niners, Bills, Bengals, it's still disgusting, right? You're still not
it's not terrible, but yeah, it's gotten bad because
I think those are the three teams that you're just like, man, I have a tough time seeing them losing, but I don't think the odds. Minus 167.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
I guess you could tease it, and then you have the Bills at -3.5. Like the Dolphins, it's not going to be a one-score game. So maybe you tease Niners, Bills, and Bengals. Maybe that's the play. But I just think the Bengals are going to dominate. Maybe the Ravens keep it close early, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. I think there's going to be a dominant win for Cincinnati. Maybe throw a T. Higgins or Jamar Chase touchdown, +100 for Jamar Chase, +165 for T. Higgins.
+100 for Jamar Chase. That's not bad at all.
+100. And Bengals Bills, man, it's destiny. Bengals Bills is going to happen next round. That game is meant to be played. So yeah, I don't think there's that much here. Big win for the Bengals.
Yeah, Baltimore knows how to keep these fucking games close. It's really fucking frustrating, even with Tyler Huntley at the helm. But at the end of the day, I do love Cincinnati coming out of this. If you did a three-leg teaser, 7 points, Cincinnati -1.5, Bills -6.5, and Niners -2.5, which I think all three of those teams can and will cover. That comes out to +20 if you're looking for some value. T. Higgins
+120.
Yeah, +120 for those three. 7-point teaser.
Or if you want to do the 10-point, get even safer and get -120, then
that's not bad at all. It's better than
So at least Bills 3.5. I think the Bills are going to blow them out. So that way you get the Bengals money line, you get the Niners money line. They both just have to win. You don't have to worry about the points.
That's much better. Yeah. Because -167 is just absolutely disgusting. But Higgins, I love T. Higgins to score. He's also got the hot hand.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God. +165. That's insane.
That's
juicy. Yeah, it is. It is. I hate the over-under because I liked the under going into this, but it's 40.5. It's a really low number.
I hate rooting for unders too. It sucks to root for unders. Like I hate watching a game and I'm like, I hope this game isn't fun. Like I hope there's no points. Yeah. Like that's not enjoyable. So
especially the Sunday night primetime game. Like it's just
and dude, just no Lamar Jackson, just a kick in the dick as a football fan.
It is, yeah.
But at least they're gonna cap it off nice. Monday night, Tommy Terrific, 45-year-old man, the divorcee, going up against just the most crippled franchise over the last 25 years when it comes to the playoffs. Mistake after mistake. Dak Prescott can't spike it. Tony Romo botched snap. Like, it's just been ugly for the Cowboys. The Dez Bryant overturned play that should have been a catch against the Packers. The Cowboys just find a way to fuck themselves. Dak Prescott looks like shit. That defense hasn't been as good as it was early in the year. And I don't know, Dallas has me worried, but I also watched Tampa because they're in my division, and they were shitty. Like, what we talked about a little bit on the previous podcast, CJ Henderson, if we actually have our first and second string corners in that game, we probably beat the Bucs. So the Bucs suck. So it's really a tale of if you get the best version of Dallas, they should blow out Tampa. But if Dallas starts kind of struggling early, close game, low scoring, it's 10-10 at half, 13-10 at half. That's when I can see Dallas kind of pulling away with it. I mean, that's when I could see Tampa and Tom Brady doing what he does in second halves of playoff games. And that's why I'm leaning Bucs +3, +3.5, taking the points. But I'm still a little bit torn on this game. I'm not 100% set either way. How are you feeling?
I'm confused, dude.
I am a little confused.
A couple weeks ago when the Cowboys destroyed the Vikings and the Colts, like you just felt like, all right, at this point, I said this on the last episode, like just stay where you're at so that you could play the Bucs in the first round of the playoffs. Like it could almost be like a bye week for you guys, the way you guys are playing, the way their defense was looking, the way Dak was looking, even with the interceptions. But now we've reached a point where Dak just doesn't look good anymore. He's leading in interceptions. He's tied with who else for interceptions?
I know that I know he had the most interceptions per game because he missed 5, but I forget who else. Was it Josh Allen?
But I think he's leading. I think he's leading altogether in interceptions. I think he finished tied for first, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, just not a good conversation for you to be at the top of the interception leaderboard when you missed 5 games. He
was tied with Davis Mills, but last year's Super Bowl champion Matt Stafford also tied for the lead in interceptions.
That's true. But
Josh Allen has 14, one fewer than Dak. So
true
with the INTs this year.
But the Rams didn't look the way the Cowboys have been looking toward the end of the season.
The Rams were getting hot. Yes, the Rams were getting hot. The Cowboys have just been too inconsistent. So I'm with you. So gun to your head, when Monday comes around, I know you're going to bet on one of the two teams.
I'm taking as much criticism as I'm giving to Dallas. I'm still taking them. Okay. I don't like Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady for who he is. That's the GOAT. Fine, all that. I'm a Giants fan. I'm going to go with.
You're facing
Tom Brady.
The Cowboys are bigger enemies to the Giants than Tom Brady.
I don't want to see Tom Brady in the playoffs anymore. I want the Giants to advance. I want Tom Brady to get out of here. Also, Tom Brady pulls these fucking victories out of his ass in the fourth quarter. We've seen that a couple times over the last few weeks. That scares me. But at 2.5. I'm going to ride with Dallas. I'm going to hope that they get this done. Yeah, get this motherfucker out of here. Mike Evans is heating up. I don't love that, so I'm counting on Dallas's defense to finally lock in.
You're counting on Trayvon Diggs, the king of fucking jumping routes, to guard Mike Evans. Mike Evans has a 50-yard touchdown in this game against Dallas because Trayvon Diggs jumps a route.
Who'd you say you were taking?
I'm taking the Bucs.
You're taking the Bucs.
I'm taking the Bucs.
Then here comes our first. This is the only one. I mean, the very
last
there's only
game. Real disagreement. I'm gonna say my reason for taking Tampa is I trust Tom Brady more than Dak Prescott. I still think Tom Brady, even at 45 years old, is better than Dak Prescott, and because of that, I'm gonna take the points. That's all it is. I'm gonna take the points. I'm at home, so I have a home dog playing against a team that just consistently tends to self-combust. So I'm gonna bank on Dallas Cowboys doing what the Dallas Cowboys do and choking. And that's why I'm going to lean Tommy Terrific and the Bucs.
Listen, to the fans listening, go with Raj. All right? Don't listen to the guy who's betting against Tom Brady. That's always on the top of every gambler's rule book. Don't bet against Tom Brady. Don't bet against Tom Brady.
Don't bet against Tom Brady. But I'll bet against Tom Brady next week. But this week, I'm going to bet on Tom just because I do not in any way trust the Dallas Cowboys.
This is going to be the real test after last year with Dak and the not lining up and the quarterback, the rush that just like ended there.
But they were gonna fuck that. I think they still would have fucked that up. Yeah. That was the setup for overtime, right? That wasn't to win the game, was it?
I think that was were they down? Obviously
they were down.
I guess.
I think it was the setup.
Because they weren't close to the end zone. So it had to have been to take it into overtime, but
I think it was to tie the game. Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot of pressure on them right now. I think there's a decent amount of pressure on Tom Brady, considering the fact that everyone was writing him off. I don't think the pressure is as high on Tom Brady as it is on the fucking Cowboys. They need to get this done. So I'm riding with them. We'll see what happens Monday night.
Yeah, we'll see what happens Monday night. So let's go to finish this off. We're gonna go Super Bowl prediction. Throw out a couple of Super Bowl MVPs, most pass yards, most rush yards, most receiving yards. Let's start off Super Bowl MVPs. I wrote down 4. Tell me what you think, and then you could give me yours. Josh Allen plus 550. I think you always got to think about that. I kind of like the Bills. I think I'm leaning Bills-Niners for the Super Bowl. Christian McCaffrey, which we both like, 18-1. Juicy. If the Niners win the Super Bowl, I think it's going to be CMC. If you think the Chargers are going to go on a run, Eckler, with the year he's had, he's 120-1. You got to be a little intrigued by that if you want to go with somebody juicy. Stephon Diggs, 30-1. I just think he shows up in big games. I could see him being the guy for Buffalo. And if Josh Allen keeps turning the ball over, they probably won't win. But if he does and they still win, maybe Stephon Diggs gets the green light. And you always got to mention Patty Mahomes, plus 410. The thing with Pat Mahomes for me is the Chiefs are plus 330. So if you're going to take Pat Mahomes at that point, just take the Chiefs to win it all. I think that's the better option. But I think those are the 4 or 5 that I've circled that I might sprinkle some change on. Biggest ones, I think, Josh Allen and CMC.
Yeah, no, those are literally mine. This morning I threw 20 on CMC. Unfortunately, I locked him in at 17-1 on DraftKings, so I'm gonna have to jump back in on FanDuel.
I think you're okay with 17 and 18-1. It's not like it's not on 25-1.
It all counts. It all counts. But I love CMC in this. I mean, he's been the focal point aside from Brock Purdy, which that would be an incredible story for Brock Purdy too if they were to go into the Super Bowl and win outright. But CMC, I mean, he's the guy who's carrying that team the way that he has. You think back to that his first game, the 3 total touchdowns, passing, receiving, and rushing. You could just see him doing something like that in the Super Bowl. It would be like big picture, unbelievable comeback for him in terms of, I love him for comeback player of the year, but that would be the absolute showcase of that ability. Josh Allen too. I loved the Bills going into the season. I love Josh Allen MVP for the regular season up until that went up in flames. So yeah, you can best believe I'm going to throw in some action on Josh Allen to win Super Bowl MVP. Those are really my two like high key favorites to get into the Super Bowl, the Bills and the Niners. So yeah, cool. I would focus on those two particularly.
Cool. Yeah, Bills Niners, by the way, plus 750. I think I locked it in at 8-1 on Monday or Tuesday, so it's dropping a little bit. People like those odds. So I'll run down these quickly. Most passing yards, Justin Herbert, 16-1. I just think he's the one with the best value. If the Chargers make a run, that's where I would that's what I would circle. Joe Mixon, most rushing yards. If you like the Bengals to make a run, he's almost 10-1. If they do make that run, I do think he'll carve up some yards if they make a run to the Super Bowl like they did last year. And receiving yards, me and you, well, I liked Ayuk 19-1. You like Kittle 17-1. The Niners have definitely unleashed George Kittle, which is why I'll mention again, 3 of the last 4 games, he's had 2 touchdowns. He is 9-1 to have 3 touchdowns. I mean, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. Wow. 2 touchdowns on a Saturday afternoon. So I think that's something that I'm probably going to sprinkle some money on. Do you have a rundown of your favorite pass rush and receiving?
Receiving George Kittle, that's who I had lined up 17-1 on FanDuel.
Like it.
Yeah, Purdy loves passing him. They have this awesome relationship. They have this great chemistry together. Like I said before, he's lighting up now ever since Brock Purdy got onto the scene. And if you like the Niners to make a deep run, then yeah, absolutely, you got to go with Kittle. I love your IU pick as well, but George Kittle is who I just think has the hotter hand. So I'm definitely going to throw on him. One other prop that I wanted to focus on real quick, going back away from the player props, weekly specials for this week. Lowest scoring team, Miami at 3-1. I feel like that's such a good, that's decent value considering we only saw Miami score 2 field goals last week.
I think it's possible.
Going against.
I could see Seattle falling on their face too, maybe, but yeah, I think Miami 3-1 is juicy enough to make it interesting for the team with definitely the worst quarterback playing on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. So
because the one thing that scares, as much as Seahawks at 4-1 against Niners defense is absolutely good value considering how good the Niners defense is. I'm still scared of Tyler Lockett. I'm still scared of DK Metcalf and Geno Smith. So they have
a couple. Well, Miami has more weapons at receiver, but I trust Geno Smith a hell of a lot more than I trust Skylar
Thompson. Than Skylar Thompson. Exactly.
I'm with you on that. So, like I said, Bills Niners plus 750. If you want to go more chalk, Kansas City against the Niners plus 650. Kansas City versus Philly plus 550. If you're going complete chalk, a sleeper one I like, rematch of Super Bowl in 1994, Chargers Niners 35-1, Chargers Eagles 30-1. And then to top off one last one that I guess if we can get a little crazy, Bengals Cowboys 31-1. Just throwing out some flyers, but if I'm circling one, I'm going to circle Bills Niners at plus 750. And the Mike Williams thing honestly does make me not like this as much, but Chargers Eagles 30-1 is another one that I still think is a little bit intriguing for Super Bowl.
Great. Don't laugh at me, but I threw $10 today on Chargers Giants. 290 to 1.
Why not, dude? Twitter, what you said, you threw how much?
$10.
Yeah, who cares? If you're gonna lose $10 anyways, but it's not a big deal. You could have,
I do that in half a drink at the bar.
Exactly. Drinks are getting expensive, man. That's why I don't even like going out as much anymore. I know maybe it's because I'm also getting old, but dude, love the picks. Excited for the weekend. So biggest bet for the weekend for me: Chargers Bills money line -112. Love tied at half for Giants Vikings as a sleeper pick. I'm still gonna ride with the Giants +3.5. And something else that I like too, I took a little parlay. Give me Giants first half with Cowboys first half. Bucs tend to start off slow. Vikings tend to start off slow. Want to come back in the games. A little NFC East parlay for first half.
What's the juice on that?
I think it's like +230, something like that.
Nice.
If you take them, I'm taking them with the points. I'm not taking the money line. I'm just taking them +2, +1. I didn't take the money line. That way, if they tie, I can hit both because, like I said, we're taking a probably fat. Honestly, I might go 30 or 40 each on tied at half for Minnesota Giants. Get a little fucking wild out here. So I'm sure we'll take some SGPs. We'll combine on some beautiful bets for the weekend and hopefully make some money.
Tie Giants 23 to 1. Tie Minnesota 22 to 1. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, rock solid. But we got less than a minute, so this was perfect timing. Great picks. We'll recap this maybe next week. Maybe I'll actually record again. Right, 2 in a row. Would that be crazy?
Dude, that'd be awesome. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Wild card weekend, baby.
Let's go.
Don't bet money you don't have unless you feel really good about it.
Right.
Then maybe it's okay.
That's good life advice, Raj.
Sanity ain't going my pace today. I can't even recall being these ways. To be honest, moving forward